Renting in Scotland today comes with many challenges. The deficit in social housing, soaring rents, and landlords charging illegal fees all leads to people being priced out of their neighbourhoods. In this precarious arena, many renters put up with substandard conditions for fear of losing their homes. But there is an alternative. Living Rent is Scotland's tenants' union.
I'm from Living Rent, Scotland Tenants Union. We're here to talk to tenants in the area about their renting situation. No. Building tenant power. So, first, we should go closer.
What is a tenants' union and how does it work?
Well, that's a good question. Again, you would join a trade union in your workplace if you're aware of trade unions and aware of obviously the victories they've had for people in improving their own conditions from the workplace. Now, we're seeing landlords and letting agents and the people who own property basically are getting more and more power every year, every month. They lobby government, they lobby local authorities. They've got a lot of power in their own side. So to redress that power, we need a union that tackles housing, and this is why we need a tenants union as a whole to start fighting back against this imbalance of power. And the only way to do that is to organise and fight back as tenants collectively.
The Grenfell fire really affected me in the aftermath, and side by side Grenfell and so many other housing struggles in the UK, there's this amazing idea of a tenants union that's building in different parts of the UK.
Often landlords and letting agents that we face, having used direct collective action, they don't know what's hit them.
The idea of the workshops was to give people an introduction to the different action teams which we're trying to build for the year ahead. The member defence gets a lot of work from Glasgow's many abused tenants. They're the first port of call for a lot of new members who are struggling with housing issues, and the role of the member defence team is to support those people to help them fight their own cases. We adopt 5 different roles, all with different remits to make sure that the landlord or corporate letting agent doesn't stray from our demands. It's a way of making sure that demands are clear, but also empowering the tenant who might feel often harassed by the letting agent or landlord. When they feel that they've got the strength of 4 other people behind them, that's an incredible feeling to have. We had today at the AGM testimony from Annie, who we've supported in her fight. She was completely leading the workshop where we did a role play on how to use this strategy. So that's just sort of testament to the empowerment element of that strategy.
Hi, my name's Ines and I'm going to be alongside Living Rent, just knocking on people's doors in Govan to tell them about the work our union has been doing. Demanding on people's behalf that letting agents and landlords give back the illegal fees that they've been charging tenants for too long.
I really like the idea of community resistance and being able to I think it's really easy, especially among youth, to think that we're just really isolated and alone and that we don't have any power. So I think you find that sense of community in university society sometimes, but it is really cool to see that it exists outside of the uni.
We go and chap up neighbourhoods, chap up doors, as many organisations would, and ask people there themselves in their own neighbourhood what they feel is the biggest issues affecting their housing issues and affecting their community as a whole. We are more about listening to people and hearing their grievances and seeing what we can do to actually try and help them out of that situation or try and improve that situation.
So you ring the doorbell and say, "Hi, I'm from Living Rent, Scotland Tenants Union. I'd like to speak with people in the block that like tenants." Usually somebody buzz you in, right? And then you go in. Half of the doors there might not be somebody. Some of them might be busy, you don't know.
We did a workshop which was a power structure analysis, which is talking about all the different groups that are involved in the issue. So in this case, illegal fees. So you're talking about the press, you're talking about the city council, you're talking about bodies representing letting agents, you're talking about letting agents themselves, how we can get all these different groups, sort of analyse how much power they have, how much influence they have over the situation, and how we can basically take their influence and use it for ours, or the challenges we might come up against.
We as a union rely on a bit more empowerment for members themselves so they can actually realise the power they've got and what they can do organising. And it doesn't have to be the union, and it isn't the union saying, right, you have to organise this way, you have to do this. No, this is about showing our members and educate them what their actual rights are, what they can do to improve it, map out what their situation is, who the people are of influence in that situation, and what they can practically do to get from that position of having no power to having power.
A lot of tenants in this area that are unhappy with the amount they're having to pay.
Yeah, it's just insane.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, I'm spending like 30% of my... I guess the first thing is like remind them that it's okay to be angry. They're allowed to be angry. They're allowed to expect decent housing. Then it's about showing that they're not alone and that we can solve it and we have solved it, and so that there is solutions. So it's like people will often feel powerless or like really alone, and it's just trying to show that no, we can do that together, and we have done it.
I think one of the really good things is that before we ever go into things, we always do a practice run, and I find that really useful. Can sometimes lack a bit in confidence, but if you've actually gone through things and worked out what you're going to do if the landlord says this, or if she says that, or what if she does that, so we think through it, and that kind of training I think is really useful. It's been helpful, and I've built a lot of confidence as a result of it.
What about, I mean, what does living rent ultimately want to turn into in Scotland? If living rent could be somewhere in 5 years' time, where would you like it to be?
I want to see us become the biggest, most powerful tenants union in the country. I want to see houses built because living rent has put much pressure on the government and local authorities. I want to see near enough every social letting tenant in the city, any tenant in the city, any tenant across the country join living rent and have that protection of knowing that there's a militant union out there that has got your back and will not take no for an answer from a landlord or a letting agent.